Live from San Juan Capistrano, the home of the Swallows and the birthplace of Orange County. It's Capistrano Live.
Capistrano Live, welcome to Capistrano Live, streaming positivity, uplifting lives, and it's all coming to you live at Capistrano. San Juan Capistrano is the place you really should come through, yo. And when you get here, what's what I'm gonna do? Turn you on to San Juan Capistrano. It's Capistrano Live, welcome to Capistrano Live, streaming positivity and uplifting lives, and it's all coming to you live from San Juan Capistrano.
I just want to dance every time I hear that. Welcome to Capistrano Live. Glad you're here. Glad you're watching. Pardon our delay. We had some stuff to work out, but we worked it out, and we're here. Like this page and share it. We have got, I know I say this every week, but I believe it every week. We have got a great show for you tonight, and we're very glad that you're here. We have an excellent musical guest called the Saltwater Kings. We have a member of the Equestrian Coalition in San Juan Capistrano here, and we also have another doctor that's going to teach us give us some tips about just maintaining our health without the use of outside stuff. Beautiful things that you can do at home for free, free 99. You can't ask for a better price than that, and that can just help us be the best we can in the day that we're in. I'm very grateful to be here. I'm Doug Starks, your host. And we're coming to you live from the Coach House Concert Hall in San Juan Capistrano. And by the way, the Coach House is open for business as a restaurant on Fridays and Saturdays, and they'll have live entertainment here as well. So check it out. I will even be here on April 23rd. Whoa, you can hear the phones just picking up right now calling the box office, can you? You hear them? Thanks for nobody answering me. So we got a great show for you guys this evening. Before we get started, I would like to thank some people that help make this show possible.
What makes Bad to the Bone in San Juan Capistrano the ultimate barbecue experience? Well, it's actually a number of things.
Our meats are prime, upper two-thirds choice products, hand specifications for us, hand cut for our restaurant. There's no gas involved with our products, strictly wood. We're cooking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with all of our meats.
Hi, I'm Lori. I live in Rancho Mission Viejo, and this is one of our very favorite restaurants. We love it. Everything is great. The ribs. And tonight I'm having a baked potato with brisket, and it's delicious.
Food is amazing, but the service is better. The two people that are here, Alberto is our best. I feel like he's a member of our family. The food's amazing, so please come enjoy it. Awesome. You won't be disappointed.
Service is great. I'm Jamie from Murrieta. I drove all the way here from Bad to the Bone brisket.
We're the ultimate barbecue experience because we're bad to the bone. San Juan Capistrano. Let WJ Construction build your state-of-the-art greenhouse. We lead the nation as the premier builders of greenhouses. We offer full-service consulting to assist in selecting the correct building and environment to maximize your grow. We also construct storage units and indoor soccer arenas. So for planning, consulting, building, or rehab, call WJ Construction. Our reputation is your foundation. South Beach Pain and Injury Center in San Juan Capistrano, South Orange County's premier soft tissue specialist. With cleanliness and your safety as our utmost concerns, we offer Kinetison's 3D motion analysis, decompression therapy, state-of-the-art rehabilitation, performance nutrition therapy, and active release techniques used by professional athletes to increase mobility, decrease pain, and increase function, all of which are used to determine and treat your chiropractic needs. We also offer energy healing sessions by a certified Reiki master and life coach. So for your optimum wellness, South Beach Pain and Injury Center, San Juan Capistrano. Your wellness is our business.
Okay, all right. Welcome back. Thank you to all of those participants who helped this show do what we do, baby. I think it's only fitting that we start this show off on a good spiritual note. So I'm going to go to my favorite minister, the Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Doug.
This is the Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Doug, telling everybody that you must beware because there is sin in this city.
Amen.
You know, somebody came up to me once and they said, Rev, where exactly is this sin that's in the city? I said, you know, you don't have to look far because it's right outside your door. But if you want to come to this church, you can't sin no more. You got to leave it outside. Say, leave it outside.
Leave it
I
outside.
said, you can run, but you can't hide. And when you come to this church, you leave your sins outside. Say, leave it outside.
Leave it
I
outside.
said, you got to take your foul mouth and your curse words, and you got to leave it outside. Say, leave it outside.
Leave it outside.
I said, you got to take your dirty mind and your pornography, and you've got to leave it outside. Say, leave it outside.
Leave it
I
outside.
said, you got to take your filthy, nasty, dirty talking sex with the ball gag, the full mask, and some of that lotion, the heat up you're blowing in the handcuffs. Anyway, you got to leave it outside. Say, leave it outside.
Leave it outside.
And you can count on me, because I ain't never lied. And when you need me, you can find me, because I'll be right outside. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
You can say, boom, shaka-laka-laka.
Boom,
Shaka-laka,
shaka-laka.
shaka-khan.
Now that we're all spiritually fit, I'd like to introduce our musical guest this evening, the Saltwater Kings. Saltwater Kings. Thank you guys so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. I need to mute this. So, joining me today is Dr. Stephen Bartz from the South Beach Pain and Injury Center. Thank you for being here.
Good to be back.
Right on, man. I like having you here. And we're going to talk more about breathing.
Yeah, we started the conversation last week and touched on a couple different techniques. Again, timely in the sense that especially the Wim Hof breathing method, its ability to upregulate the immune system is rather apropos in today's climate with everybody concerned about improving immunity and protecting themselves against the virus.
Exactly. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Wim Hof is a very, very unique gentleman, actually. He holds records for like swimming in sub-freezing water, like underneath ice, and holding his breath for extremely long periods of time. He climbed Mount Everest without the use of oxygen, and he also did it in short pants. But he has some amazing breathing methods that not only revitalize you and give you energy, I mean, like instantaneously you can feel this change. You have a little more cognition, and it helps you boost your immune system. Wim Hof, look it up on YouTube. YouTube University.
Yeah, so my interest in breathing techniques stems from a couple of different areas. One, my background being a respiratory therapist. Obviously, we dealt a lot with asthmatic patients and people in general who were having trouble breathing. And two, my own background of being a surfer, growing up surfing. One of the things that I have always never wanted to experience was to drown.
Really?
For some odd reason.
You're the one.
Just not a big enthusiast of drowning.
I get that.
So, again, there is a side benefit of being able to improve breath hold capability. But along with that, as we monitor our breath hold, what we're actually doing is we're noticing an increase in mitochondrial efficiency, which is the energy production plants in the human body.
Right on.
So, again, to reiterate what we had talked about last time, a substantial number of people are not breathing correctly, upwards of 40% of the population.
It's amazing.
And what we touched on last week was the fact that 40% of us are not breathing through our nose.
So let me ask you this, not to interrupt you, but kind of, if we're not breathing correctly, are there other conditions that can occur that can seem symptomatic of something else, but it actually could stem from our breathing? Because I would imagine if you aren't breathing correctly for a prolonged period of time that you would start to experience some type of fatigue in varying measures, right?
Sure.
And that could be misconstrued as like maybe depression, or it could lead to being just sluggish and depressed because you're not oxygenating correctly.
Sleep apnea, snoring. One of the immediate things is high blood pressure.
Stop it. How does that connect?
Well, we're not exactly sure. It may have something to do with nitrous oxide production. When you breathe through your nose, you're secreting 6 times more nitrous oxide than when you're not.
Secreting it into your body.
Exactly. And nitric oxide is critical for cardiovascular health and, interesting, erectile function. In men, it can be seen as EDD. And in women, it can be seen as loss of libido.
Now, I always thought EDD was the Employment Development Department, but apparently...
Erectile dysfunction.
It's a more extensive way of being down on your luck. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So what are you going to show us today with breathing technique?
Well, I thought I'd like to first, kind of point out another problem besides nose breathing that people are doing wrong, and that's over-breathing. Many of us are actually over-breathing. Now, that seems almost counterintuitive. Because, again, when you hold your breath...
How would one overbreathe?
By breathing too fast and by breathing too deeply.
Really?
Yeah. As it turns out, again, CO2 is considered a metabolic waste product. But it's also vital for good health. And to kind of convey how critical that is, I thought I'd tell you a couple stories. One is about a gentleman, a Czechoslovakian runner by the name of Zapoltek, who he wasn't a runner or was not a trained runner. And his work actually asked him to participate in a race, which he was very reluctant to do. He agreed, and out of 100 participants, wound up placing second. So consequently, that got him interested in running. Fast forward, he wound up breaking several national Czechoslovakian records in the 2,000 and 5,000 meter, I believe.
So I'm not following this. How does this connect with over-breathing?
So one of his techniques to train to achieve these accomplishments was to what's known as now hypoventilating treatment or technique training. What this involves is actually underbreathing, letting the CO2 build up, and to show again the consequences of this, he went into the '52 Olympics and won gold medals in the 5 and 10,000 meter races, and just for giggles decided to enter a marathon race, having never trained for a marathon in his life, having never run a marathon in his life, and won the gold medal.
So
Now,
when you say hyperventilating, you don't mean like doing the full extension of breathing. You mean just like shallow breathing repeatedly.
well, there are numerous techniques to do
But
this.
when you're saying this is what he did, I'm asking.
This is what he did. Yes.
So it
And
was
people-
like shallow breathing rapidly.
No, not rapidly. Actually, slowly.
Slow, shallow.
Slow and shallow.
Okay.
To let the CO2 build up. Now, I'm going to forewarn you, this is a very uncomfortable way to train. And people thought he was nuts. So you can't discount the fact that maybe this guy was just a freak of nature.
Right.
But then, again, fast forward, there was a U.S. swimming coach by the name of Councilman who was known for his sadistic, barbaric training routines. And when he heard of this, I guess he fit right in his wheelhouse. Typically, when a competitive swimmer raises his head out of the water, they're doing it on about the third stroke. He would teach his athletes to do it on the 9th stroke, which means they're holding their breath for quite a long time underwater. And consequently, when they went to the Montreal Olympics, they cleaned house. Wow. 13 gold medals, 10 silver medals, 11 world records were set with this techniques. That he
So
did.
you're going to show us today a modification or variance of this particular technique?
Well, yeah, I can definitely do that. But I also wanted to point out that through this research, it turns out that there is a scheme for the perfect breath. It turns out.
One more time. A what for the perfect breath?
A scheme, a program,
okay.
A recipe
Okay.
for the perfect breath. It's 5.5 breaths per minute, and that works out to 5.5 second inhalation and a 5.5 second exhalation. So we're kind of keeping our lungs at half full, and this allows the CO2 to actually build
Wow.
up.
That seems concentrated, because if I had to think about my breathing and monitor it like that, I don't think I'd be able to work, because it was occupied too much of my mind. But show me. I'd like to see this. It's like 5.5 seconds breathing in.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you breathe in, and I'll count for you. So
Okay.
breathe in,
All right.
and so start your breath.
Okay. Here we go.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Now exhale. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. That's it.
I don't know why I close my eyes when I deliberately breathe. Because subconsciously I think I'm sleeping. Maybe. I don't know what it is. Okay. So doing that 5 times in a minute.
5 breaths per minute. 5.5 breaths per minute to be exact. Don't get hung up on that number.
Okay. All right. I was just doing the math quickly. Well, obviously it wasn't quick. I've had to close my eyes again. But all right. So how many times do you do that for 1 minute?
The more you do it, the better. They recommend at least 10, but the more you do it, the more advantage you're going to get from it.
So some of the advantages are what?
Improved vitality, increased energy levels, lowered blood pressure. The list goes on. Now, the second story will deal with, again, with this type of training directly applied to asthmatics. At Southern Methodist University in Dallas, in 2014, they did a study where they took 120 asthmatic patients and taught them these hypoventilation breathing techniques, breathing slower. And what they found was within a month, 80% of these asthmatics were off their bronchodilators,
Wow.
off their oral steroids, and actually doing just great.
So for people watching today, with the breathing exercise that we just demonstrated, some of the effects that they could have and they could witness in their own experience would be stamina,
Endurance, increased breath hold time,
Okay.
again, lowered blood pressure. The list goes on.
So when you say stamina and endurance, stamina, were you kind of referring to like the EDD and a little more virility?
No,
or-
I mean being able to get on an exercise bike and pedal for 45 minutes when before you could only go 20.
Wow. And what about cognition?
Improved cognition, clarity of thinking. Again, you name it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing because you would never. If I was experiencing fatigue, my immediate thought would not be to consider how I breathe. So it's interesting to bring that up because my immediate thought would be to call my doctor and go, "I'm tired. I don't want to get up. Can you come in today? I don't feel like it today." But
if you think about it too, the technique I taught you last week, or I've
Yeah.
actually taught you before this, the Wim Hof breathing method, with the part of it where you're holding your breath at the end of exhalation and at the top of inhalation, you're doing, ironically, the same thing. You're building up CO2.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the magic seems to be. With the Wim Hof, you're also getting the added advantage of increased oxygenation, but then you're getting the CO2 retention too. And again, we used to always think CO2 was a bad thing. Turns out it's not. It's really not.
Right. I mean, in extreme circumstances, it can be.
Well,
extremely-
again, it's what makes you want to take a breath,
Okay.
the CO2 buildup. And like I said, if you start, that's part of the training is learning how to be comfortable with these higher CO2 levels. Okay. Because initially, it can be a very panicky feeling.
Yeah.
When you're not breathing. For sure.
And the reason I want to share some of these breathing techniques or exercises is because I've done them. He's shown me them over a long period of time, and bless you. And I've done them, but one of the most amazing things that I discovered, and it wasn't so much like it was immediate in my just like living experience, but it was a great metaphor for me, is because I started practicing one of these breathing techniques, and I was able to hold my breath for like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Which is amazing for me. So it just let me know that I had a greater capacity than I thought I had. So that means in every aspect of my life, I have a greater capacity than what I thought I had.
And again, the immediate transfer is, again, referring back to the Framingham heart study, which showed the direct correlation between lung capacity, vital capacity, and longevity.
Wow.
The single best predictor for longevity
What's
is
capacity?
lung capacity.
Interesting, man. Dr. Bartz can be found at the South Beach Pain and Injury Center here in San Juan Capistrano. You'll also see his spot running on this show. A great person to talk to. If you have questions, give him a call. If you have some questions, you can even put them in on the chat. I thank you for being here, man. We got to come back and you got to show us some more breathing techniques.
Be happy to.
Would you? Sure. I'd like that very much. Dr. Stephen Bartz. And now we're going to go back to our musical guest, the Saltwater Kings. And now we're going back to our musical guest, the Saltwater Kings. And we're back. And I'm here when we... Thank you guys, man. Saltwater Kings. Check them out. You can. We'll talk with you later about where people can find you, but if you love the music, like this page and share it. This show is all about giving you some positive things that you can latch onto, some positive energy, some positive news, or just informing you in things that are important and things that you can get involved with, because everybody counts. Everybody's energy counts, everybody's participation counts, and we're glad you're participating with us this evening. And I'm also very glad to have Julie Ryan, who is a member of the San Juan Capistrano Equestrian Coalition, here as our guest this evening on Capistrano Live. Thank you for... So we have a common passion, and it's equestrian. And you're part of the San Juan Equestrian Coalition. And a lot of people don't know what the coalition is. So for those folks who, once they know, will want to get involved, tell us a little bit about the coalition.
So the coalition's mission is preserving our equestrian heritage. And we originally started it with lifestyle, and then we realized it really is about our heritage. And San Juan Capistrano has always had horses. I mean, we've had swallows, we have a beautiful mission. But kind of hidden to most people, we have a really rich equestrian community. And it started, back hundreds of years ago with ranching. And, San Juan's known for the parade. It's known for the rodeo. But we're also known for the Olympic trials. The jumping that is done in San Juan Capistrano brought all the special trials to get on the Olympic team to the West Coast. So we've actually seeded 2 different Olympic teams, both dressage and jumpers. The last qualifying events were out at the Rancho Mission Viejo Riding Park.
Well, that I did not know.
Yeah, so if you're a West Coast rider, rather than always competing on the East Coast, we actually have to have some... And to add to that, the Olympic coach for the U.S. show jumping team is based out of San Juan Capistrano.
Wow.
So we've got a really rich international show jumping base here. We've got a really rich Western community as well. Yeah. And we've got little kids starting all the time. So we've got great kids camps for kids, pony clubs, and we actually have the kids from kindergarten to high school actually compete on the fields, school versus school.
Really? In equestrian?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. It's, if you haven't been to San Juan Capistrano, for some of the reasons that she just disclosed, you have to come. I mean, there is the mission, and there are the swallows, and the swallows celebration and all that stuff. It's a beautiful town, but another thing that's really unique about this town is that when you drive around it, you can see all these beautiful ranches and these amazing animals. They're all over.
Well, we specifically designed some of our stoplights at equestrian heights. So when you're riding your horse down San Juan Creek Road, you can actually hit the stoplight so that you can stop it for your traffic for horses.
On horse
right.
level.
And we actually put in over at the golf club a pen so that if you're riding your horse over to the golf club, a horse.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So if you're a big drinker like me, that's
we'll get you on a horse.
That's good news, right? No. That's great. So the coalition also does a lot of social events, and
we do. We love our social events. We love people to come into our community. So what we decided to do is take our equestrian community and show people what we do. And we started about actually 19 years ago with a barn dance, and we invited everybody into our stables, and it was crazy because about 700 people showed up. And we keep moving it as our crowds grow.
Different locations.
To different locations.
Right.
We started at the stables because we wanted people to see our stables, our different styles of riding, and kind of introduce them to the equestrian community. And it's been so successful that we've actually moved it out to the riding park about 5 years ago. Wow. And 2019, we had over 7,000 people show up.
7,000 people.
It was crazy.
I bet.
So we also, summer long, we put on horsemen's happy hours. And we go out to different places in San Juan, and we invite, if you just want to come talk horses or you want to just come meet us. And it's a really great place to see all the other equestrians or get our friends involved with just kind of hanging out together and seeing each other.
That's absolutely. Coalition is involved in is preserving that equestrian culture here in San Juan Capistrano.
Very much so. So this year, we decided we wanted the community to know more about us. So we recently put out a grant, and we call it the 100 Horsemen Strong Challenge. And we challenged 100 horsemen to pony up $100 each.
Pony up.
Yep.
Love it.
Got that one in, worked that one in. I didn't even try. And we came up with, so we've collected over $10,000.
Nice.
And the winner of the grant will win that $10,000. And that $10,000 has to go towards a project. And you could be a person, a business, a nonprofit, a club, a group of friends, and you can apply for this grant. It's super simple. It's just like one page. Tell us what you want to do that enhances a community, and somehow it has to relate back to a horse has to be involved. It could be an art project. It could be riding lessons for the Boys and Girls Club. It could be different things, but a horse has to be involved. And we're really excited to give back to the community that way.
That's awesome.
So we'll be awarding that soon.
That's awesome. And as far as giving to the community, the equestrian activity in this community is a strong part of our local economy.
It is. We've done 2 economic studies. The first study kind of answered the question of how much money does the person that keeps their horse in San Juan give back to the community. And that number we kind of undervalued. We didn't have a big enough parameters. But what was interesting is the person that lives outside of the city spends as much money as the person that lives inside the city. And that's because going to the barn is part of your day.
Right,
and so you're going to set up the rest of your day about going to the barn. You're going to get your gas here, you get your
Do
groceries,
shopping
you're
here,
going to
right.
go get coffee on the way, you're going to probably stop and have lunch with your friends or dinner or whatever. So based on that, we did a second study, and we worked with Chapman University, their School of Economics, and they did the study for us. And what was fascinating is that over $50.1 million comes into the city, and this is before we had built the new hotel, comes into the city from basically the horse shows and the equestrian community.
That's nice. It is, my people come from Texas, a very small Texas town. It used to be a very small Texas town. And the town has grown. And some of what was the charm of the town and the lure of the town is no longer there because it was so attractive. And they said, everybody should come and live here. It's so attractive. And when everybody came to live there, some of the very things that they were attracted to were no longer there. And I think it's important that that people become aware of some of the beauty and the culture of this town, because that's what keeps it real. That San Juan is it's a rare place. It's a place where you can go into supermarkets and people know you by name, and no matter where you go, you're always running into somebody that you know, and it's like the whole city's that way. There's someone, if you meet someone that you haven't met, they know somebody that you know. It's just that type of like Mayberry-esque kind of town. And the horses are Barney. And it's a big part of this community. I ride Western, but you just told me about a style that you ride. Is it dressage?
Dressage.
Dressage,
I
okay.
ride dressage. Most women, after they've taken a couple falls jumping, they become great dressage riders.
Okay.
So we always say we're one fall away from becoming a dressage rider. So dressage is it's practice, basically, and it's a beautiful style of riding. At the lower levels, it's probably like watching paint dry, but we love it. It's like our golf.
Yeah.
You have your really good days, and you have your kind of I got to keep working days.
Well, the stallions that you ride, I've seen in theaters actually, and they're amazing. The way that they dance, they're amazing. So I never knew that style was called
dressage.
That part. Dressage.
Dressage. So that's the one thing about riding horses is you have to be really present. Whether you're taking a jump or you're riding dressage because you're trying to remember how to, be so coordinated or
Right.
not so coordinated. There's so many different things you've got to be present for the horse.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty. It's riding horses or being around horses, whether you're just going to the barn to brush a horse. It's so good for your mental health.
Yeah.
And we're really lucky that we have an activity that we can do outside, and we can, the other thing I wanted to point out that was really unique to San Juan Capistrano is our trail system. We have one of the most extensive multi-use trail systems, and you'll see the equestrians out there all the time, sharing that road with, dog walkers and mountain bikers.
Bikers and hikers.
But we've actually put in a lot of money into that trail system. We've created the trail maps. We've mapped it with GPS systems. And so we're really proud of our trails, too.
Which, by the way, if you're watching and you're outside of San Juan Capistrano, or even if you're here and you've never ridden, you've got to come ride. And especially now, if you're looking for something to do, what you said about mental wellness or mental health, getting out, I can't think of anything better than to get instruction on how to ride a horse and then take a trail ride, because it's awesome. It is probably one of the most freeing experiences I've ever had. I love it. I do it as often as I can for that very reason. It's just you're out there and you're in the moment, and when you can commune with this animal, it's an amazing experience. A lot of people are afraid of horses. They're so big, but they're so intuitive. Horses they're probably one of the most intelligent animals I don't know that I've ever encountered. I heard that pigs are pretty smart.
Pigs are pretty smart.
Yeah, but horses are very sensitive, and they're very intuitive.
They are, and they're beautiful.
Yeah,
they're just really beautiful to appreciate. And when hopefully COVID protocols get better, I invite everybody out to our riding park, because we have over 16 weeks of horse shows.
Wow!
And it's international competition. It doesn't cost anything. And so right now with COVID, unfortunately, you can't do that. But as soon as that opens up, because it is a spectator sport, you can just sit on the grass. It's easy to follow the game kind of thing. It's easy to cheer for somebody. But it is the most beautiful afternoons I've ever spent in San Juan, just sitting on that grass and watching. And then what's truly amazing is to go walk that course. Mm-hmm. And when you stand up against those jumps, and you're wondering how the heck they do that. I mean, it takes so much courage and bravery and training and all that discipline.
And finesse, for sure. This weekend, what's going on this weekend?
This weekend?
Yes. I thought there was I'm blanking right now, but I thought there was a show or an exhibit going on.
Well, there's shows that are going on. We always have shows going on. And San Juan sometimes we'll run like 2 or 3 shows in two or three different places. So right now the shows are going out at the riding park, but unfortunately, again, because of the rules, they are not spectating yet.
Okay.
But we're hoping that later on we can, because it's something, like you said, we love showing it off.
Yeah.
And it is, and you can see everything from little pony hunters out there to really international competitors out there.
That is wonderful. I'm glad you came to be with us. I want to encourage people, if you aren't familiar with the equestrian culture here in San Juan Capistrano, and you aren't familiar with the Equestrian Coalition, you can look up the Equestrian Coalition. You can look it up on Facebook, for number one, and there's a website, and the website address is
SJCEC.org, San Juan Capistrano Equestrian Coalition.org. And we also have Instagram and soon YouTube. So
right on. You guys are just going to be all over it.
And TikToking away.
And TikTok. Nice. I thank you for being here. Is anything that you would like to let people know before we close our show out? I'm very grateful that you're here, and I love what the coalition is doing. I love that we have this beautiful culture, and my hope and my support would be in doing whatever it takes to keep it here as it is. Because it's part of who we are, and it's part of what we do. And that's what we do, baby.
Yeah, I just want to say, if anybody's interested, they always want to ride a horse, or they rode a horse when they're younger and they want to get back into it, just get back into it. Check out our website and send us an email. We'll help get you started again.
Thank you. Julie Ryan is with the San Juan Capistrano Equestrian Coalition, and you know what? I'm going to run. I want to run a clip of me visiting an equestrian center here in San Juan Capistrano and taking some riding instructions. Let's run that, and then we'll come back with the Saltwater Kings. Like this page and share it. So
Juan Capistrano's origins are equestrian, and it's a great place to go horseback riding. There are a lot of trails. However, if you've never been horseback riding, it's suggested that you take a lesson, learn how to ride a horse, get comfortable on a horse before you take your adventure on a trail. We're at Gladstone Equestrian in San Juan Capistrano. This is Joan. She is the proprietor and my instructor this morning. Thank you, Joan. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
I've been working on my equestrian walk. Here it is.
Oh, you're ready to go. Perfect. Very nice.
Okay.
You got to teach me how to do that, though.
It's called bad knees. So
you're used to riding Western all around. So he's really an English horse, so we're going to have you hold your reins English, which is perfect. One rein in each hand. Good. And then we're just going to take him this direction. Okay. Point his nose the way you want his body to go.
This is so exciting.
So we start out with a rein in each hand, and it's pretty basic. When you want to go right, you pull on the right rein. When you want to go left, you pull on the left rein. What we're really trying to do is get him to turn his nose the direction you want his body to go.
Okay.
Perfect. And then to go forward, it's pushing with your legs. Stop, release, no leg pressure to stop. Just sit deep in the saddle, pull back, and you're going to slow him down.
When you say pushing with my legs, you mean?
So I don't want you to swing your leg back like this. I want you to keep your leg just right where it's right here, where it's just laying straight is perfect. You're going to squeeze them with the back of your heel. So you hear, and see it works. You hear that term leg a lot with riding. It really just means heel. Okay. And then as far as pulling, you're already doing it right, but you want to pull kind of waist level. So when I pull with my right hand, I'm just going to pull straight back. I don't want to pull towards the middle of my body. I don't want my hand to be high or low. Typically, a novice rider will drop their hand down to pull. You'll see all kinds of weird things.
Like handlebars.
Driving a bus.
Right.
He's already like, we're going back to the barn.
Right. Yeah. So this is cool.
Yeah, you look good on this horse.
I do?
Yeah, you do. When we ride, we like to keep our heel down lower than the toe. There you go. And this does a lot of things for you. It helps to stabilize your leg and keep your leg just securely in one place.
Okay.
When we do come off of horses, almost always you're going to see a rider coming off the front of a horse. So what happens is their heel comes up, their leg goes back, and the body falls forward. So I always, and we have really well-trained horses, but I always tell my riders, if you ever get in a situation where you're uncomfortable, you're going to lift your hands up a little higher and push your heels down and your feet forward, just to make sure you're staying back down in the saddle where you belong. So are you familiar with posting at all?
No.
Well, you're going to be happy to learn posting today on this horse.
Only like in basketball, but no.
He is like riding pogo sticks. He has an enormous trot, yes. So posting you've probably seen, it's when the rider stands up and sits down repeatedly. And we're actually doing this because the trot can be very bouncy. And we're moving up and down in rhythm of the horse's movement. So as his legs are going like this to trot, you're going to be going up, down, up, down. So you are moving in rhythm with your horse, which is why you don't get bounced around. Feel wherever your weight is shifting. We don't want our horses leaning. So when we ride, we want to follow what our horse's spine with our spine.
Okay.
When our horse is asked to turn, we're actually going to turn at the waist towards that turn and not lean left or right. So your shoulders are always going to stay level, and you're just going to turn a little bit at the waist towards your turn. Good. Without leaning in. There you go. Very nice.
Nice.
And let's go ahead and take him back down the rail a little bit more. You're going to go ahead and start the trot. You will see how bouncy it is, and then we're going to go ahead and go back to the walk and work on posting at the walk.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you just give him a kick to trot, bump him with both feet. You're almost there. Another little kick, and keep steering him, and you can see he's a bouncy boy. Practice that at the walk again. You're just going to stand up and without pushing your butt back, stand up and down. And if you want, you can go ahead and grab that saddle with your left hand, keep the rein in, there you go, perfect, up, down, and come all the way down, and up, down, good, there you go, sit for a moment.
So Joan's going to show me a demonstration on posting, how it's done correctly.
A long time since I've been in a Western saddle. So this is the sitting trot, super bouncy and posting. So I'm just going up, down with this leg movement.
Used to be a quicker process when I was younger.
A little more strict with him about coming off the rail and using that right rein rather than neck reining him. So just tip his nose towards the rail, give him a good kick. There you go. And then just keeping your hands, like think of your hand position right there as home plate. That's where you're going to keep your hands. All right, let's go ahead and try that. And that trot again. Up, down, up, down. You can grab the horn with one hand if you want. Up, down, come all the way back down. You don't need to go up very high and then come all the way back down to the saddle. You're not coming back down. Come down, and there you go. There you go. Good job. Got to touch back down in the saddle. Perfect. Up. Good job. See, it's not as bouncy when you're moving in rhythm with the horse, huh? Isn't that better? You're doing a great job keeping your legs still and your heels down. Very nice. So, up, down. There you go. And this is probably the hardest horse to learn the sitting trot on. You are doing the posting trot. You're doing a great job. Thank you. It's very easy on my body. We can tell from your voice. Billie Jean is not my food. There are definitely a lot more women in this sport than there are men.
Imagine that.
I have to say, at the top, in this industry of almost every discipline in riding, the men do kind of dominate. If you stick with it long enough. And I think it's because the good ones are really the ones who stick with it, you know?
Right, baby.
It's a great sport. You get a lot of exercise. You're outside, and you're working with a horse.
Yeah, and
what could be better?
Exactly. And there's something there's something very natural about communing with other beings that's really spiritual, cathartic. Is that how I say it? Cathartic?
Yes.
Cathartic?
No, cathartic. Pretty sure you're right the first time.
Okay.
Well, and being able to ride, he's probably, 1,400 pounds? You're riding this animal who is allowing you to ride him.
Yeah.
We have good communication. We have respect for our horses. They respect us, but you need good communication. If they don't understand what you want, they get frustrated. So when you really spend the time and have a good communication with your horse, a good relationship with your horse, it's just the best. There you go. Now don't squeeze anymore because he's already going. All right, and walk. And we're going to talk about that for a second. Pull back, tongue, walk. All right, that started out very nicely. What happened is you started bouncing up and down, and he knew that that was wrong, and he went back to the trot. So the canter is a sweeping motion. You actually stay in the saddle, but your butt's going to kind of sweep forward and forward because your horse moves like this. Every time he goes like this, you're going to kind of go forward. So you just, now don't do it intentionally. This should happen naturally, but I want you to understand what the motion is. You're just going to kind of like you're in a swing. Okay. You're going to kind of go, just kind of go forward and back without rising out of the saddle.
Okay.
Right?
I'm sitting here. Yes, we're watching the show, but I'm still enjoying talking to my friend Julie Ryan. And this has been a great evening. Please look up the San Juan Capistrano Equestrian Coalition at equestrian SJCEC.org. Boom. And they also have a Facebook page. And also, we're going to return to our musical guest, the Saltwater Kings. Gentlemen, lay something on us, man. Like you mean it. You gotta love it, man. The Saltwater Kings. Dave, come on up here, man. Let's chat, bro. Let's chat. Thank you guys for being here. And I'm trying to remember everybody's names. There's Dave. That's Malcolm.
No, Dave's absent.
Oh, okay.
Check.
But Dave would have been there, though.
He's filling in for Dave today.
Okay.
Is this working?
Yeah, it is.
This is Brother Malcolm.
Mark.
Mikey Ortiz.
Mikey.
Filling in for us today, thankful. Brother
Ty.
Travis.
Right on. Right on, man. And you guys are basically out of San Clemente, right? Basically, like two of y'all drove like 3 hours to be here right now.
Yeah. We're all split up. That's our
man, I love the music. I love the music, and I love it. And you can tell when people are like reciting music, and you can tell when people are making music. When they're creating that musical experience, and you can't help but feel that when you guys are playing. I'm sincere, and I'm really happy that you're here, and I love it. I love it, man. So what's coming up for the Saltwater Kings?
All kind of things, bro. We're working on writing original music. Very soon we'll be recording and making some videos. And
one of the cool things that I've caught on your Facebook page is that you guys just play. You come together and just play. You play outside, like on the porch. You're just doing it because you love the sound and you love the music, and I love that. And people are like, neighbors are like watching, and there's like dogs running, and dogs by themselves. Like the people didn't want to come, but we couldn't miss it. And they're just like, it's great because it builds community. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, thank you, bro. Yeah, when we practice, we got neighbors, friends, pets, everybody. You've seen it. It's undeniable when you play from the heart. People feel it.
Yeah, I feel it, man. Right. I want to thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I love it. We will have you back. Will you play us out with something?
Yes, sir.
Right on, man.
Do some Bob Marley.
Right on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our guest this evening, Dr. Stephen Bartz from the South Beach Pain and Injury Center. We also want to thank Miss Julie Ryan from the San Juan Capistrano Equestrian Coalition. We want to thank the Coach House Concert Hall for allowing us to do this show here, and also our expert technicians, Andrew and Sean, and the Saltwater Kings. I'm Doug Starks. Like this page and share it, and join us next week. Love you all. Ladies and gentlemen, Saltwater Kings, play us out, bro.
Yeah.
makes Bad to the Bone in San Juan Capistrano the ultimate barbecue experience? Well, it's actually a number of things.
Our meats are prime, upper 2/3 choice product, hand specifications for us, hand cut for our restaurant. There's no gas involved with our product, strictly wood. We're cooking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with all of our meats.
Hi, I'm Lori. I live in Rancho Mission Viejo, and this is one of our very favorite restaurants. We love it. Everything is great. The ribs. And tonight I'm having a baked potato with brisket, and it's delicious.
Food is amazing, but the service is better. The two people that are here, Alberto is our best. I feel like he's a member of our family. The food's amazing, so please come enjoy it. Awesome. You won't be disappointed.
Service is great. I'm Jamie from Murrieta. I drove all the way here from Bad to the Bone brisket.
We're the ultimate barbecue experience because we're bad to the bone. San Juan Capistrano. Let WJ Construction build your state-of-the-art greenhouse. We lead the nation as the premier builders of greenhouses. We offer full-service consulting to assist in selecting the correct building and environment to maximize your grow. We also construct storage units and indoor soccer arenas. So for planning, consulting, building, or rehab, call WJ Construction. Our reputation is your foundation. South Beach Pain and Injury Center in San Juan Capistrano, South Orange County's premier soft tissue specialist. With cleanliness and your safety as our utmost concerns, we offer Kineticent's 3D motion analysis, decompression therapy, state-of-the-art rehabilitation, performance nutrition therapy, and active release techniques used by professional athletes to increase mobility, decrease pain, and increase function, all of which are used to determine and treat your chiropractic needs. We also offer energy healing sessions by a certified Reiki master and life coach. So for your optimum wellness, South Beach Pain and Injury Center, San Juan Capistrano. Your wellness is our business.